The I can statement, I can approximate irrational square roots within 100th. I just want to go over this I can statement with you, and this is just as a reminder, this is video A for 8th grade, Unit 1, Lesson 6. So I can approximate. What does this word approximate mean? Whoops, didn't mean to cross it out, meant to underline it. Approximate means to basically, if you approximate something, you're rounding off. You're saying, I know it's accurate within these digits, but this digit right here might be sort of an educated guess or a rounding. So, for example, you guys probably have heard of pi, and as you guys have probably heard, 3.14 is an approximation. The digits for pi go on forever and they don't repeat. It's an irrational number. And so we use this little squiggly equal sign to show that it's an approximation. I can approximate irrational square roots. What's this word irrational mean? Well, it's one of our vocabulary words. Irrational is a number that cannot be written as a fraction. Remember, a rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction. So it makes sense that a rational number cannot be written as a fraction. So I can approximate irrational square roots within 100th. What do I mean by irrational square roots? Well, that will be determined in our example here. So if I asked you to find the square root of 36, you guys would say 6, because 6 squared is 36. If I asked you to find the square root of 25, you'd say it's 5, because, 5 squared is 25. However, and I'm going to turn to example 1 here on the next slide. What if we asked you to find the square root of 34? And so this is the example problem for this video. Example 1. How are we going to find the square root of 34? Well, besides plugging it into a calculator and it approximating for us, we're going to approximate it without a calculator. And this is a really good skill to have, and it's required by the 8th grade standard that you can approximate these. So first thing you want to do is you want to look at the number under the roadway, or not under the roadway, but under the square root sign, and you want to figure out what it's between, what squares it's between. So you might want to figure, okay, 34, it's less than 36, but it's also greater than 25. In other words, it's greater than 5 squared, but it's less than 6 squared. So because of that, I know my approximation of the square root of 34 has to be somewhere between 5 and 6. So it's got to be between these two numbers. Because if I say it's 6, that's too much, because 36 is more than 34. But if I say it's 5, that's too little, because 5 times 5 is 25. So then you want to ask, so I guess the first step on this, and I'm going to write the steps on another slide. The first step would be to find the squares it falls between. The second step would be to make an educated guess on a possible answer. What do I mean by that? Well, to make an educated guess on a possible answer, we come back here and we go, okay, we know it's going to be between 5 and 6, but gosh, 34 is awfully closer to 36 than it is to 25. Because of that, I'm going to try like 5.9. So I'm going to see what 5.9 squared equals. And if it equals something close to 34, I know I'm on the right track. And to do that, we got to do the math. So 5.9 times 5.9. We're going to do that math real quick to figure out what 5.9 squared is. Okay, 9 times 9, 81. 45 plus 8, 53. 5 times 9, 45. 5 times 5, 25, plus 4, 29. Can add them up. Looks like it's just over. So 5.9 squared is 34 and 81 hundredths. So that's a little bit too much. So I'm going to go down to 5.8. Let's try 5.8 squared. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 5 is 40 plus a 6, 46. 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 5 is 25 plus the 4, 29. 4, 6, 13, carry the 1, 3. Oh my gosh, it's just less than what we want. This is good. So we notice that 5.8 squared equals, and I already forgot the number, it equals 33 and 64 hundredths. So now we've got an interesting situation. We know that the answer to the square root of 34 is not only between 5 and 6, but it's between 5.8 and 5.9. Okay, so at this point you've really zeroed in on it. And so after you make an educated guess on a possible answer, figure out within an accuracy of a tenth what it falls between. So the difference between the first step and the third step is up here. You were just figuring out that it was between 5 and 6. But down here, you figured out it was between 5.8 and 5.9. Now, from this point, you're basically done. You do not have to start guessing, okay, I know it's between 5.8 and 5.9, so let me try 5.82. Let me square that and figure out what that is. No, you don't have to do that. Just split the difference, okay? If you know it's approximately between 5.8 and 5.9, and this is how we're going to write our answer. Let me explain why. We know the square root, let me erase this. We know the square root of 34 is greater than 5.8 because 5.8 squared equaled less than 34. And we know it's the square root of 34 is less than 5.9. Because of that, we just split the difference and we say, okay, our best approximation is going to be 5.85. And you might want to remember on a number line here, if I've got 5.8 right here on a number line and 5.9 here and then 6 is here, 5.85 is right between 5.8 and 5.9. This is 5 and 80 hundredths, or 8 tenths, which is also 80 hundredths. This is 5 and 85 hundredths. This is 5 and 90 hundredths. And it makes sense that 85 hundredths is between 80 hundredths and 90 hundredths. Okay, so I've thrown a lot at you here. I want you guys to give these a try. They're going to take some time. They're going to take some guessing and work. First thing you want to do is figure out what it falls between, what perfect squares it falls between, like 5 or 6. Does it fall between 7 and 8 or 8 and 9? And then make an educated guess on a possible answer, okay? Then figure out within an accuracy of a tenth what it falls between. And that's what I did over here. And I had to just guess and check. But let me just make something really clear here. I was able to guess almost correctly right away because I knew that the square root of 34 was closer to 6 than it was to 5, so I guessed higher. I didn't guess 5.3, I guessed 5.9 and 5.8. So wherever your number is between your two squares, if it's like right in the middle, I would have guessed 5.5, you know, if this was right between 25 and 36. If it was closer to 25, if it was a square root of 27, I would have guessed like 5.1, 5.2. So you can use where the number is between your two squares to help you zero in on what it might be. Okay, guys, good luck to you. Signing off.